there's no other way but to be good enough, to do whatever it takes to prove to yourself, not your dad, not your mom, not your boyfriend, not your playmates, that you are enough.
You're listening to Turn Your Soul On Radio. I am your host and visionary doctor, Dr. Brandy Victory, and my mission is to assist high-achieving women in closing the gap between feeling unfulfilled to living a life on fire. It is time, ladies, to champion our own lives and turn ourselves on. This is Living Victoriously, ladies. This is how you turn your soul on.
Hello, supersonic, soul-awakened babes. Thank you for being here. And hopefully you are feeling so on fire right now in your life. And if you're not, hopefully by the end of this conversation, you will be. That's always my goal for these conversations. And today I really want to just give you some real life stuff from my journey that will lay out how coming to a place of having things in my life be unacceptable leads me to doing other things in my life that turn my soul on fire. One of those specifically being cleansing. And I'm sure if you've been following me, you've heard me talk about cleansing in the past. It's a top priority in my life. And there are certain times when I feel called to do it and other times when I don't. And there's reasons for all of that. And, the reality is I know what it feels like to be fat, sick, and tired. And I never want to go back to that place. And so we're going to just have a little bit of a discussion about how I personally get myself out of those ruts when I feel like I'm becoming sluggish in my life, when I feel like my energy is waning, when I feel like my soul's not so much on fire, or when I feel like I don't really want to get out of bed, or these kinds of things. So we're going to get into that. Before we get into that, first of all, I just want to thank you for sharing this with your friends and family and all the people and all the women that you know who would appreciate a hand up. Any woman that you may know who is looking for that way to get out of their rut, stop this right now and just share this episode with them, help them learn about these techniques and these different things that I personally have done in my life and do on a regular basis that will help elevate their lives. So thank you for sharing the brightness and the lightness. And also I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Purium Superfoods. Purium Superfoods is the 10-day transformation program that I am personally on right now. This is day 2. Whoop, whoop. And I'm going to be actually sharing daily videos on YouTube to show people what the process is that I'm going through as I go through it. So if you're interested in that, you can find me at Dr. Brandy Victory on YouTube. So that's cool. Purium Superfoods has the 10-day transformation, as I was saying, and it is a phenomenal program. If you've ever been thinking about doing some kind of cleanse, but you don't want to commit to a month-long or a 21-day, 10 days is actually really, really doable. And your cravings just go away within between 1 and 3 days, but for sure within 1 or 3 days, you will not be craving anything other than what's on the plan. And it's not a fast, so you do get to eat food. So don't think that I'm not eating any food. I'm actually nourishing my body and my cells with highly bioavailable superfoods and nourishment. So I'm feeding my cells instead of avoiding eating. So two totally different things. And there's a $50 gift card for you if you'd like to try it out. Just go to ishoppurium.com. That's ISHOPPURIUM.com. ishoppurium.com. When you place your order, you use the gift card code Dr. Brandy, DRBRANDY, and you'll get $50 off your order. So I am also going to be offering this 10-day as a group in the beginning of June. Yes, June. And if you'd like to do it with a group, let me know. Reach out. You can also go to my website and go to drbrandyvictory.com/10-day. That's 10DAY /10-day. And check out what the group is about. So as I go through this each time, I get more and more information about how I want to share my group transformation, the next one that arises. And I'm sure that it's going to be loaded with stuff because I'm already becoming so inspired for this group. So it would be great to have you there. All right, let's get on with the show. And so, essentially, like I was saying, I know exactly what it feels like to be overweight. And no matter what I tried, couldn't lose the weight. I was sick. I had bipolar manic depression. I was tired. I was fatigued. I literally had chronic fatigue. I had pain in my body with fibromyalgia. Like, this was my daily existence. And to get out of bed was a big challenge in a lot of ways. And I just felt apathetic towards life itself. And, when you're in that place, it seems like there's no way out. And especially when you don't have people around you who can guide you or show you that there's a way out, or at least point you in the right direction. Like, I had no one in my life, right? So I got to this point where I just wanted to die. I literally was planning my own suicide, and I just didn't see a way out. And, my life was just one of severe depression, severe anxiety and panic attacks, and a very painful reality. And so I also know what it feels like to live life on fire, to feel passionate about my work, to enjoy moving my body without pain, to feel totally aligned with my calling and my purpose and my creator. And I don't ever want to lose touch with that, especially when you've seen the darkness and you see the light. Whenever you feel that darkness starting to come back into your life at all, it's a real big motivator to push yourself into whatever it is you need to do to get back into the light. So I've been on this journey for 27 years now, and I can see so clearly that my life becomes sluggish when I become sluggish. When my cellular function is sluggish, when my liver and digestion system is sluggish, when my brain is sluggish, like it all reflects each other. And over the next few episodes, I will be speaking about how the importance of micronutrients and how nutrient deficiency can create this sluggishness. But I want to save that for another conversation. Otherwise, we'd be here for 2 hours. But really what this conversation is about is how I have realized that the more I fine tune my awareness around this aspect of my life, the more tuned in I become to when I'm in alignment and when I'm out of alignment. I believe that alignment it's something we can always reach for. So I can feel like I'm in alignment now, but tomorrow or the next moment, the alignment can go deeper, right? So we go as deep as we can and as deep as we're meant to in this moment, and we allow ourselves the space to be with that, so that we have what it takes to move into our next step of alignment. So you've seen this as you grow. When you're a kid, you're aligned to something completely different than when you're a teenager or when you're in your 20s. And then as you get older, you align to something different. And for me, there's always been this thread of spiritual alignment that guides my way. And spiritual alignment when I was 12 is somewhat different than what it is today. When I was 12, I was an acolyte in the Episcopal Church. So I was the girl dressed in the white robe who would light the candles and do the reading at the front, play in the handbell choir, help our father with the ceremonial bread and wine business, and that was very rich in my world of spirituality when I was a child. Now, through the ages, I went through different things of the church can no longer answer my questions about God, so this must not be the place for me. And so I went on my own little journey to figure out what that is. And today, I honor all religions. I literally love Hinduism a lot. I am also practicing a form of Buddhism, which is lovely life philosophy. And I have Jesus Christ in my office with me when I'm doing healing work, because I want to aspire to the greatest healer that's ever been, and that would be Jesus as far as we know. So, I love all these different paths, and alignment. What I realize is alignment happens on all levels. It's physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual, and they all reflect each other. So you can't expect your physical body to be in alignment if you're out of alignment spiritually. You can't expect your mental mindset to be in alignment with your purpose, with your truth, if you're out of alignment in other areas of your life. If your physical body's out of alignment, you're not taking care of it. When your spiritual body is out of alignment, you're not taking care of it. You're not doing nutrition. You're not getting chiropractic care, because they all reflect each other. If you can't, it's like two sides of the same coin or four sides of the same coin. You can't really have one be in alignment and have the others be out of alignment. It just doesn't work that way. And so it calls me to do things to continually reaffirm my alignment on all levels. I get chiropractic care. I get actual physical chiropractic care to align my physical body. I'm very active in my body, and I work hard, and I play hard, and I exercise hard. And it's so, so important for me to maintain alignment on a physical level. There's this particular yoga practice that I started in called Anusara Yoga. Now, it's just one vein of yoga, but the essence of that was inner alignment allows for outer alignment. So when we align to our inner body, when we align to our inner truth, when we align to our inner yes, then our physical expression is a result of that. And it works backwards. So if you walk around with poor posture, you're not going to feel very great. I mean, if you take a minute right now to slump over in your chair and just take a few deep breaths, just notice how that feels. Notice that it might feel like labored breathing. It might make you tired. But maybe if you sat up nice and tall and you drew your belly in like a little drawing in towards the spine with the belly button and created space between all the vertebrae and allowed the shoulder blades to drop down the back and went into your interior, like to the deepest part of yourself, and aligned to that, and notice how that feels. So it's all connected. And we can do things in our life to create inner and outer alignment. And so chiropractic care is one of those things. I always tell my patients, get a chiropractic adjustment once a week, whether you need it or not. And I say that because you never really know when you're out of alignment. 100% of the time, I can get people on the table who say, well, I don't think I really need an adjustment. And I get them on the table and I absolutely find something to adjust because they have no idea they're out of alignment. This happens to me, and I am really tuned into my body. So it's like, you can think you're tuned in, you know what's going on, but you don't necessarily know what's going on. So it's just good practice to keep yourself aligned is to get chiropractic care. So this helps. I know when I love it when I'm treating people, although I'm ending this job now, but I as I'm treating people in a straight chiropractic practice, even though they don't know this aspect of my work, they don't understand that every time I give them an adjustment, it's aligning them to their spirit and to their purpose and to their truth. They don't understand that, but I understand that. So it's really, really good for me when I'm just treating straight chiropractic, because I'm just like, yeah, you just don't really know, but this is what happens, and then they feel better. I actually had a girl next door there was a hair salon next door to our office, and I went over there to get a haircut, and she was like, hey, I see people walking into your office and then they're all kind of like just walking in normal. And then when they come out, she's like, they're just bouncing around and they have smiles on their face and they're so happy. And I'm telling you, many of those people don't even realize the impact that the care is having them, because we just don't know. We just don't know the impact that the things that we're doing have in our body and our mind and our spirit. So I'm just telling you that because one of the things that you can do for yourself is get chiropractic care. And there's all sorts of types of chiropractic care. And every single chiropractor, I don't care what philosophy he follows, what kind of technique he's using, it doesn't matter. Every single chiropractor is going to have a different way of addressing the body. It's just the way it is. So if you've had chiropractic care in the past and it hasn't been great for you, don't discount it. There's something to it. There's a lot to it. You have really no idea unless you're into the practice, but give it another shot. And maybe traditional structural chiropractic isn't for you. There's non-force chiropractic. There's low force chiropractic. I personally practice all of those kinds of chiropractic, and just figure out which one's for you and find the right person for you. It's the same with yoga. I tell people, go take a yoga class. And they're like, well, what kind of yoga should I take? Well, I always feel like an Iyengar practice is great foundational practice. This is great foundational practice for any yogi or yogini. However, it really comes down to the teacher. It doesn't matter the tradition, it's the teacher. And if you align to the teacher and the teacher can speak to your heart and speak to your truth and speak you into alignment, then that's the perfect teacher and the perfect practice for you. Some it may be Hatha, some it may be Iyengar, some it may be Bikram, some it may be Yin. It just doesn't matter. You just have to follow your guidance and keep trying until you find the one that works for you. I personally do emotional clearing work to align my own emotions because, it's not only the physical, but the emotional aspect that we need to address. And the emotional clearing work that I do, it just helps me drop whatever bullshit story I've been telling myself in any particular moment. All right. So we've been trained really well to put ourselves down, to be hard on ourselves, to lack personal empowerment, not to believe that we can't or not believe that we can, right? For me, it was doctors putting me on all sorts of medications for bipolar manic depression and then telling me I'd be on them forever to get used to it. Literally, that's what my doctor said. Just get used to it. You're going to be on them forever. And, I haven't been on those meds for 20 years, 19 or 20 years now. So, that was a bullshit story. Or maybe it's my inner child that shows up or my little girl self. And she wants so badly to be praised by her daddy, but not understanding, not understanding how to get his praise. Maybe it's not being good enough at math or not playing pool well enough. He was a professional pool player, and I never really rose up to that in either of those. And so the way I thought I needed to get his love most wasn't the way that he gave it because I wasn't rising up in those places. So he didn't really give me the praise I needed in those areas. As a matter of fact, he was kind of hard on me in those areas because I just didn't get it. So, my little girl child comes up and she needs some love. So to help her let go of the I'm not good enough story, which repeats itself throughout the ages of my life, I've done this emotional clearing work for many, many years. Like I'm going on 20 years now, actually. And it's gotten me to a place where that I'm not good enough story is completely unacceptable. Like it's not the story that I'm living now because I'm like, hell, fuck no, that's not what I'm doing. We're doing this over here. Now, I'm not saying I don't ever get myself into a place where I have self-doubt or anything like that, but that's when I drop in and I do my work. This is what we do. We do whatever it takes to get ourselves to the next level, to elevate ourselves up out of the bullshit stories that we've been telling ourselves. When your story gets to that place where it's completely unacceptable, there's no other way but to be good enough, to do whatever it takes to prove to yourself, not your dad, not your mom, not your boyfriend, not your playmates, that you are enough. Because not being good enough is no longer acceptable, and there's no other way. So I put myself in situations like 10-day transformation programs that remind me of my power over food, my power over my body, my power over my life. And if everything reflects everything, then reminding myself of my power in any given way filters in to every aspect of my life. So the question becomes, what do you do to remind yourself of your own power? What do you do to remind yourself of your own power? And when I do this, With utmost grace, my life begins to align again, and my spirit feels nourished as I nourish my body in this way. It's an ever-deepening journey of self-discovery, and one I intend on pursuing until I'm no longer in physical form. Otherwise, I'll go back to living a bleak, apathetic, depressed life, and that's just not an option. So here I am for another 10-day transformation program and sharing my journey with you. I'm so excited to be doing this. It just lifts my heart up. I just feel this little golden buzz happening inside my chest because I'm so thrilled to be able to share my experience and maybe have your journey be blessed and inspired along the way. So I'm going to leave you with that, and may you do whatever it takes to turn your soul on. Thank you for tuning in to Turn Your Soul On Radio. If you're finding yourself living a more inspired life because of this show, help spread the light. Share this episode with every woman you know looking to live their lives a little more on fire. I'd also be grateful if you headed over to iTunes and left a heartfelt review, which really helps the growth of the show. I'd also like to invite you to deepen your connection with our community by joining our private Facebook group, Turn Your Soul On. And if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot us an email at admin@drbrandyvictory.com. Thanks so much for being here today, and I'll talk to you next time. May your soul be turned on.
This podcast is for information purposes only. Dr. Brandy Victory is not a medical doctor, and the views and statements expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Dr. Brandy Victory and the producers, disclaim responsibility from any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.